What's going on, guys? Sickbit here, aka Meat, coming at you with another Draft League Presents. Today we're going to be going over Cinderace, okay? So Cinderace in the Draft League format is kind of hit it by storm. Some people say that Libero is banned, which is one of its abilities that we're going to go over. And then some people say that it's not. So in this league, the Battle Company, Season 2, Libero Cinderace is not banned, okay? And so that's why it's in 20 points. A lot of people are calling for its ban, but I don't think it should be banned necessarily. To me, it's really not that overpowered. There's a lot of Pokemon that are very, very good. You know, other than it changing typings, that can be kind of crazy and mess up a lot of calcs if it goes first. Other than that, I think it's really not that good. To me, it's like an 18-point mon. It should be here, to me. That's my opinion. Because if anything is scarfed, it'll outspeed this, and it will super effect. It will hit it for whatever typing it is, whether it be fire or whatever typing it chooses to be that turn. So I think in that way, it's really not that good. It is one of the strongest fire types, though. I no doubt. I mean, I think Victini might be better because, well, Victini might not be. I think Victini might be better. I think it should be an 18-point mon. I don't think it's one of the best in the format, in my opinion, but a lot of people are really hyping it. So that's just my opinion. I think it's a top 10 Pokemon probably. Yeah, top 10. I would never pick it first, but that's just because it doesn't play to my play style, so that's just my opinion. I think it's better than a lot of Megas, except maybe Mawile, Gallade, Deontay. I don't think it's better than Latios or Latias if they're not banned. Trying to think. I don't think it's better than Megalopony either. But that's just my opinion. A lot of the times you don't want to choice scarf this Pokemon either because you want it to be changing typings. So, we'll get into why I think it's a top 10 Pokemon right now. So, Cinderace is a fire type, meaning that it resists bug, fairy, fire, grass, ice, and steel. Three of them being really big ones: fairy, steel, fire. So that's a really good typing. And then the resistance to grass is really nice as well. Now this has those ground, rock, water weaknesses as well. So just think about what kind of typings that you would kind of look at for the to pair up with this. But of course, let's move on to the ability, because this is going to kind of mess with your fire typing a little bit. So Libero, which is pretty much the protein Greninja, okay? So this is the second generation in a row that the hidden ability has, or for one of the starter Pokemon, has been to change to whatever type. Okay, so Gen 7 was Greninja, I got Protein, and now we are on to Gen 8, and Cinderace has Libero. So I'm not sure what the thought process there is, but these are one of the strongest abilities in the game, flat out. So very, very strong ability to change any type. You can go from, something doing double damage to something doing, half or a fourth of what it would do regularly. So it's a very, very strong ability, very, very strong ability. So it's really, really good. So don't be stuck on this fire type, because this is like whatever type you want it to be. If the Pokemon that you are playing against is faster than you, though, it will stay that fire typing, because it only turns to that typing once it uses a move, right? So, with that being said, let's get into the stats here. So, I don't think the stats are very good at all. I mean, the 119 speed is very, very. That's pretty good. It's not a wall breaker with 116 speed, but with the ability to change the typings, it becomes very good, because it's able to 2-hit KO, and sometimes pick up those 1-hit KOs with that stab, with that same type attack bonus of Libero, whether it be, fire typing, or stab dark type, or stab U-turn, Just picture what Greninja was, with a little bit less. The stats are not as good in my opinion. So it's a weaker Greninja essentially. Yeah, it's a weaker Greninja. The 80 HP is okay. 75 is not that good, and 75 is not that good. Obviously 65, so it can't run very many special sets at all. So you're really just going to be running physical attacking. So this thing is kind of, it's only going to do really one thing. You know, it's only going to be a physical attacker that's super fast. A lot of the time it's not going to set up very... I think yeah, in my opinion, it's really not that oppressive. That's just my opinion. But a lot of people really, really like it. Some people have found success with it, but I think the vast majority of people that pick Libero Cinderace don't find a lot of success with it. You know, it's really not that good to me. But we'll move on here. We'll move on to some sets here. So Pyro Ball is its signature move. Which is a really, really good signature move. 120 base power with only 90 accuracy. Very, very good. Very, very strong. It does have that chance to miss, but it is 120 power. Right? So that's a very, very strong move. Has a 10% burn chance, but not really worrying about that too much. And then its other signature move is Court Change. So this is arguably stronger than Pyro Ball itself, because Court Change is stronger than, Pyro Ball because... Well, in my opinion, it is because it can change whatever is on your side at that time to whatever on to their side. So even to the nature of the G-Max moves, right? You can flip that on their side as well. Really important ones are Light Screen Reflect, Spikes, Tailwind. Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rocks, any entry hazards, even the Pledge moves, Sticky Webs even. So you're talking about all entry hazards, the G-Max moves, Safeguard, Reflect, Light Screen. So every single thing that would be on their side is flipped to your side, or their side is flipped to your side. So a very, very strong move. I think it's a little bit stronger than Pyro Ball in my opinion, just because just the sheer things and the sheer levels that it can come to. So that's just my opinion. I really like Court Change a lot. I really think that it helps this mon. And it gives it a lot of things in draft that it could do. But that's really the only utility side of Cinderace. Okay? So Pyro Ball, Court Change, Sucker Punch, U-Turn. This is supposed to be like something that can just come in like an offensive pivot, for instance. But it can get worn down very, very quickly, and it doesn't take much with these stats, with the 80, 75, 75. It's not going to take very many hits, especially if it's not changing types to resist hits. It's going to be very, very difficult to keep healthy, in my opinion. Heavy Duty Boots isn't something that you want to run on it every single week, but I think for Court Change, it might be the best to run with Court Change, because obviously you don't want to come in on hazards. You'll take 25%, so it can be tough to figure out what. It can be difficult to really put an item on this because you want Heavy Duty Boots, you want Choice Scarf, you want Choice Band. A lot of times you don't want a Choice Scarf for this Pokemon, but I've seen it been done before. They just lock in and they just they're hitting stab U-turns, whatever it is. So this is an interesting set here. Either High Jump Kick 2, it gets High Jump Kick. It doesn't get CC, I don't believe. Of course, that's the High Jump Kick will be Stab, even though it is just a plain Fire type. So that's just something to think about. Let's move on here. It doesn't show any other sets, but I do want to note that a Choice Band set is really, really good. Yeah, Choice Band is pretty good. So you get Stabbed plus your Choice Band, and it actually starts becoming a little bit of a wall breaker. So that's just something to think about. Let's get into the moves though, and then we can get into some pairings after that. So Acrobatics, I don't think it can really run Weakness Policy that well, in my opinion, but it does get Agility, so it is a possibility if you are playing against a team that's a little bit more balanced, has like a bulkier water. Yeah, it has a bulkier water, so you can kind of take that hit. You can take that water type attack or whatever type attack you expect to take, you can take it super effectively, get that weakness policy, agility up, and then start going crazy. So that's something interesting to think about. Gets baton pass, but you're almost always going to run. U-turn. Blaze kick is okay. Again, we're never using a special side because it only has 65. It only has 65 special attack. Bounce is pretty good, especially if you're G-maxed. That's one of your better flying stabs here. Bulk up is pretty good. I've seen a lot of bulk up sets. That's really, really common on the ladder in OU. So that's interesting. Court change, of course, is great. Double kick, not really. Electro ball. If you are facing like a Toxapex, this can hit fairly strong. This is going to hit, fairly strong. So that's something interesting to look at. You just want to make sure before you take this into a draft league game that you want to make sure that your calcs are right, okay? To see how much damage it's doing to the difference in speed, because that's how the damage is calculated, or the base power. So we're only going to talk about the physical ones. We got Fire Fang here, Fire Punch, okay. Flare Blitz if you want to take the recoil instead of Pyro Ball, but I think Pyro Ball is always going to be better than 90% accuracy. Gunk Shot I think is pretty good. Gunk Shot's good for those fairies. You also get Iron Head too. High jump kick here. Let's see here. Low kick could be pretty good if you don't want the chance at taking damage and you know that your target is heavier than you. Okay. Here's Pyro Ball here. Quick attack. Pretty good. Let's see here. Scorching Sands, never really going to use it. Nope. Sub is okay. Sub is not bad on this guy because you don't know what you're expecting, so you substitute. And if something comes in that's faster, let's say Dragapult or something like that, you're able to like Sucker Punch, different things. And unless they have a Focus Sash, you're probably gonna one shot, a Dragapult or different things like that. So I think its outplayability with its moves are fairly good, but not like another. In my opinion, y'all know my opinion. So Taunt here, Taunt is really good, especially a fast Taunt user that can really play a bunch of mind games. U-turn's really good. Zen Headbutt. Okay, so Zen Headbutt's really good because you wouldn't be able to break through a lot of the poison types that you regularly can't because you don't. Stab Zen is very strong. There's a reason that it's only 80 base power because that Psychic type is really strong. Only 80 base power as one of the strongest Psychic type moves on the physical side. It's pretty strong. And that flinch chance. Work up is also pretty good, but I would think that bulk up would be better, just because it gives you a little bit of defense as well. So that's just something to think about. Just remember that anytime you use any of these moves, that you'll be switching types. And I really don't think, in my opinion, to give a different one, if Blaze Cinderace is allowed or is in your league, there's no Libero, I would not draft it. In my humblest of opinions, I would not draft a Blaze Cinderace. That's my opinion. So those are your sets and overview of Cinderace. What I want to get into next is kind of a pairing, a Pokemon that pairs well with it. So let's get into that. I think something with spikes and then a bulky water, of course, would be really nice. So a spike setter could be, let's go way down the list here so that we're not getting crazy. A spike setter here. I think Fortress is really good. Or Klefki. Klefki's pretty good for spike setting. I think something that really goes well with Cinderace is a bulky water that can fly. Not Pelipper, please no. But maybe like Vaporeon would be pretty good. That's not a flying water type, but just for instance. I think something really tanky. Maybe like Seismitoad, Swampert, maybe a water ground type. Those are fairly good in draft anyway. But something that's not hurt by ground, rock and water. which rock and water can be resisted by water, and then ground is kind of neutral to water itself. But if you had like whether a levitator or something like that, maybe an electric. What is that Pokemon? Electros. That's what it is. I didn't see it. I just know I was working it through in my head. Electros, because it has levitate. It doesn't resist those rock type attacks, but it definitely resists water and ground. So that's something to think about with Cinderace. Again, I would not draft it unless it was Libero, and I wouldn't draft it. I definitely would not draft it in the 20 points tier. I think it's a waste of a mon because it doesn't offer the team as much as some of the other 20-point mons do. Really, I don't even think Coco is. I think Mawile should come up and Gallade should come up probably, and Mega Lopunny should probably come up too. Selly should be 20 points in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, I think Cinderace should move down to 18 points. If it's an 18-point Libero Cinderace, I would take it. Well, it would be a tough decision. It would be a tough decision between Victini and Cinderace, in my opinion. But I do think it's a really, really good mon. It's definitely a top draft league mon. But I do not think that it is that crazy overpowered. That's just my opinion. A lot of people have a lot of differing opinions. So I can understand where some people might think it's broken because of something that they've experienced before. I could see that 100%. That makes sense. But the times that I've played Libero Cinderace, maybe it's because I over-prepped or I just didn't think it was that oppressive. Like I'm not sure, if you can outspeed it, a lot of the time it's not going to run Soy Scarf, so you know what its typing is going to be. So in that fashion, it's not that strong to me because its whole thing is going from opposite typings. If it's able to change typings, it can be really, really strong. So that's just my opinion. All right, well, that's Sick Bid, aka Meek, coming at you with another Draft League Presents. And then make sure to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you tomorrow.